All right, this is Oldmanpoole back for my second recorded Legacy Cube draft, and opened up some interesting stuff here. Certainly nothing quite as straightforward as just going forward and taking Crater Hoof and running the gauntlet that way. Kira's a pretty powerful effect, just very difficult for your opponent to deal with. As long as it's on the battlefield, it's hard for your opponent to kill anything you've got. Exquisite Firecraft is fine in mono red. Bitter Blossom, I'm not sure how often this is going to end up being great. Obviously, the card is very powerful. If you play it on turn 2, it gets you a lot of value over the course of the game. Both these Planeswalkers seem fine. Terminus also seems fine. I don't see a card that's just overwhelmingly the first pick. I think I'm either going to start off with Bitter Blossom or Kira. Well, these are all pretty good too. Maybe just the Jace is best. Maybe we'll start with Jace here. Provides a fair amount of value and also is fairly good at keeping itself alive for your opponent to have to deal with. Teferi, I actually have to read. Each cards you own that aren't on the battlefield have flash, and okay. Interesting. So it kind of screws with your opponent and also gives your cards just a little bit more versatility. Emrakul is good if we end up doing some sort of reanimator shenanigans. Damnation is just kind of a powerful effect in general, although double black versus double blue. If I take like the Bitter Blossom, I think I would be taking Damnation here pretty easily. Land Tax is powerful. I don't know how early a pick it is though either. I think I'm just going to take the Damnation here. None of these other cards seem like I'm really passing anything fantastic. And we certainly end up being blue-black. Maybe a shell for a lot of Planeswalkers or something else along those lines. Dungeon Geist is fine, not exciting. The Winterward is also fine, but not crazy exciting. Careful Consideration, draws 3, discards 3. Seems like a pretty powerful effect. 4, discard, draw 4, discard 2 for Careful Consideration is good if we end up doing some sort of reanimator, and also very, very good in just for finding the cards that you want and kind of getting rid of dead draws. Pyromaster seems okay, but not crazy. I think I'll probably take Careful Consideration here over a bunch of other reasonable but not crazy cards. Note there's a Tropical Island in this pack. As our third pick, so maybe worth seeing if that comes around. I do like Nissa a fair amount. Just very, very good defensive card and kind of keeps you alive. Baral seemed I played against it once, I think in my last cube. That one may not have been recorded, I don't remember. But it was not super impressive. Do you like the Hex Mage? Okay, just kills any Planeswalker, ends up being pretty powerful. Into the Royal is also not bad. Could you just take the Wormcoil Engine here? Yeah, Sphinx's Revelation. I don't think this is a sneak attack deck right now. I'm loath to take another double color card right now. Even though I think we are going to be in maybe sort of a controlling shell with what we started with here. It just seems like it's going to be tough to cast all those. So I think we're going to take Wormcoil Engine here. I think the Revelation is fine as well, but I think this is a pretty big, powerful effect. So there's the Crater Hoof coming around. We have Master of the Wild and Garruk Relentless. Those are 3 pretty good green cards. So maybe I should look at that. Alternatively, we could just take the Darkslick Shores here, which is pretty good. Don't think we really want Dragon. A couple of reasonable red cards. For what we're doing right now, I think the Darkslick Shores is the only real good pick, but maybe we should just be taking one of these green cards. We could take Garruk, and it would end up being played in the deck, probably. Yeah, maybe take Garruk here. I'm not sure if we want to do a Crater Hoof Behemoth again right after our last draft. And Garruk seems like it could fit in the packs pretty well, and I'm not sure Darkslick Shores is the most exciting of picks here. So I'll just keep an eye out for green, since that seems to have been kind of open. Here we have Master of Waves, which seems kind of not real exciting. This can be pretty good, but if they have any non-red kill spell, it doesn't do a ton either. We have Ranger, which doesn't do much for us. Ulama, which seems kind of unexciting. Sundering Titan. We could take Miscalculation, which seems okay. A counter spell early and cycling late. Maybe that's just the pick here. There's Scrubland, like I said, but Miscalculation seems better than maybe any of these other cards. Okay. Here we have a couple of good black cards. Take the Dismember, could take the Nighthawk, could take Braska if we're thinking of doing green here. I like the Devoted Druid fine. Maybe we end up being like blue-green here and don't actually end up playing the Damnation and just go more creature-based. Obviously, things like the Devoted Druid do not fit super well with Damnation. This is some good black here, though. So maybe we do keep the Damnation, it's just a powerful card, and we play either the Braska or the Dismember here. I think I still like Dismember better. I've been told I'm maybe undervaluing Braska, but she still seems like one of the less good planeswalkers in the set to me. Here we have Tasigur, which is pretty powerful. If we get a couple more early cantrips, it gets really good, and then it's got kind of a good late game effect too. Don't think anything else here is super exciting. Remove Soul's fine. I think we're gonna just go ahead and take the Tasigur here. That may not end up making the pick if we don't get a whole lot of cards that work with it, but I do think it's fine. Probably take the Duplicant here. Worth knowing that Steering Sphere came back around, but the Exquisite Firecraft is gone. The Duplicant's fine, if not crazy. It might end up being a sideboard card too if my opponent's got a really powerful bomb. A couple of good green. I mean, the Woodfall Primus is one of the better green ramp targets coming back as well. I think the only card we're realistically playing here is Ratchet Bomb, so we'll pick that up. I think that's a fine card. Okay, here we could take Hissing Quagmire or the Winnower. This can be pretty good. 4/3 Menace is actually nothing to laugh at in kind of a mid-rangey deck like this. It does kill something. I think with the kind of controlling thing, we want the Hissing Quagmire though. Here we have Into the Royal or Vampire Hexmage, which are both cards that we considered taking earlier. I'm glad we didn't. Hexmage just is a good sideboard. I think Into the Royal is probably better in general, although Hexmage definitely has a place against some planeswalkers. Crater Hoof this late. No respect. I could have been in the deck, but that's alright. We did that last time. Let's mix it up a little. Take the Wickerbowl Elder as a sideboard card. Okay. We have a couple of things here. Upheaval is less good without a bunch of mana rocks. We haven't really seen anything there, even though the effect is really powerful. Thing in the Ice? I wonder if Thing in the Ice is a reasonable pick here. We already have a couple of instants, and I don't know if it's strong enough to be this early, though. Take the Abyssal Persecutor, which is pretty fantastic. Yeah, I like the Phyrexian Revoker. There's a bunch of good cards here. Maybe Nissa's just the pick. We're not super hardened to green yet, but we do have one fixing for it. And Nissa's kind of a house later game. Don't think we want Smuggler's Copter necessarily. Don't really have much to actually cruise it. Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Nissa here, although I think there are a handful of good cards. I could see that pack being correct for a bunch of different things. Okay, here we have Cryptic Command is pretty powerful. Liliana's fine. I think that the Reanimator deck maybe has passed its prime here. Murderous Cut's good, but we already have a Tasigur, and that kind of conflicts. I think the Cryptic Command is just the pick here. Coalition Relic. Add 1 mana of any color. Yeah, that's not bad either as a ramp thing. I think I want the Cryptic Command over it, though. It does have the chance to ramp us up a couple of times, which is good. but Cryptic just seems like a pretty powerful, pretty sweet effect. I do like Glenalendra quite a bit. I also like the disc. Mystic Snake's also good. Those are a couple of different things we would play. Force Spike's not super exciting, but I think it's okay. Exhume. Let's see. Probably the Glenalendra. It's just such a powerful effect to have 2 counter spells on board. Really difficult for your opponent to deal with. I do like the disc though. We do have a Damnation already. I think we maybe want the Glenalendra a little bit more. Take Ancestral Vision here and keep up our pretty good draw spells. Don't think there's anything else here that's super exciting. I do like Seagate Oracle. I would probably be the pick if Ancestral Vision wasn't here. Okay, seems okay. Alright. We're still seeing some like reasonable white, so maybe that's more open than I was giving it credit for. We have a worse version of Damnation, but another board wipe, more or less. We also have a Mole Drifter, which is quite good. Slagstorm is powerful, not in red. Probably take the Mole Drifter here. The Crooks of Fate might come back around, but the versatility of Mole Drifter is pretty powerful. Okay, yeah. I think that's like the 3rd or 4th Gideon we've seen, so maybe we should have moved into white a little bit earlier. We're still definitely not for sure in green. Haven't really seen tons there. I think those are both fine green playables, but there haven't been a lot of cards coming around. Runescarred Demon is expensive and not the highest impact. It's not a bad card, though. Eldritch doesn't do anything for us. Stroke of Genius is kind of okay. I think Wasteland is not necessarily good for this deck. Inquisition can be good, but also misses a lot. I think I might take the Far and Away here. I'm not sure that'll end up being in our main deck, but... Oh. I must have misclicked and taken the Gideon. I thought for sure I was selecting that there, but... no blue or black here other than Liliana, which is okay. Makes my opponent discard. It's kind of expensive. It might just be better than anything else we have here. Tanglewire is interesting. I think we're going to take the Liliana, though. I've had some success with Tanglewire, but I have a tough time telling which decks it's really good in. Some decks it seems quite fantastic, and some are just kind of unexcited. We could take... Grey Merchant doesn't have really much it's going for right now. Gifts and Given is good if you end up in Reanimator, and so is in Burial Rites, but I don't think that's really where we are at this point. Dark Ritual seems pretty bad. Maybe we take the gifts. So we have Phyrexian Revoker and Abyssal Persecutor. We might want to take Abyssal just as a way to get my opponent down on life. We have Wormcool. We have a couple of different ways to do that, so maybe that's a little bit too aggressive. This card's very efficient, but like it dies to your removal spell. It doesn't give you as much value as a lot of the other things we have going on. I think I might take the Revoker actually, and that card ends up being quite good against Planeswalker matchups and anything that's got a really good activated ability. Don't really like Mimic that. I mean, I guess we take Kaiga, which is not super exciting, but maybe would end up making the deck. I'm not sure we were supposed to be blue-black here, but do like taking Mystic Snake. That's a pretty good pickup at this point. I have a Victimize. I guess maybe to go with the Gifts Ungiven. I think we're kind of too late for that. So maybe I should just take a Trigon Predator. And that ends up being pretty good at wiping out enchantments. It's less good in this cube because there aren't mana rocks everywhere, and eating mana rocks with the Trigon Predator feels pretty good. Yeah, a couple of late white cards. I don't think we really end up with any of these, but I'll take the Stroke of Genius. It's an outside chance we end up playing that. So I think this deck looks pretty profoundly unexciting right now. It may be that, and certainly I'm still getting a little bit used to the format, so some of these picks may have been kind of suspect, but I'm not sure that we focused on the right things here, because our deck just seems kind of mid-rangey and not all that high power level. But anyway, let's look at our next pack here. We do have Noxious Gearhulk, which is pretty great. Just kills a creature and is a pretty good threat on its own. I don't think that Erebos is ever going to actually be a creature for us. Does draw some cards. Part's too slow. I think Mirror Battlesphere is also probably a little too slow since we don't really have any ramp, although card's definitely strong. Take Drowned Catacombs, which would be okay. Take Deceiver Exarch, although I don't really think that we're going to splash for the red for Splinter Twin or anything like that. I think we'll just take the Gearhulk. I think it's only slightly worse than Battlesphere, and being one less mana might be significant. Okay. So we have Thoughtseize here, which is not a bad pickup. It basically always hits. You can take your opponent's best stuff. Yeah, not tons else. I mean, there's Massacre Worm, which is fine, but I think is dramatically worse than like Worm Coil Engine or Noxious Gearhulk. And we already have some higher threats. It might be nice to take Thoughtseize and be able to utilize it early on. There are some other good cards here, like Dreadbore I probably would play, but we've seen not tons of fixing, and we haven't taken tons of fixing, so I don't know if we can really justify that at this point. I think Thoughtseize is a fine card. Okay, we have Obnixilis, which is pretty good. We have Botanical Sanctum, speaking of fixing that we maybe should be taking higher. Likewise, we have Underground Sea. Whirler Rogue, I think, is better than it looks. I think Obnixilis is just another good Planeswalker threat, and maybe something that this deck really needs, though. We're definitely past the Necromancy train. And maybe one of these lands will end up wheeling for us. We are at 22 playables already, although I'd like to take a couple of these out. Like, I'm not sure that Ratchet Bomb should be in every matchup, and we don't want to start with Phyrexian Revoker in the deck. So yeah, I think I take the Obnixilis here. May pick up a little bit more fixing, hopefully. Creeping Tar Pit's good. Wow, is it really late Guy's Cradle? I think that card is just bonkers, but we have Repeal, which is good. We have Harbinger is good. Creeping Tar Pit, which is good. Wretched Confluence is powerful. And Malicious Affliction is as well. I actually don't know how often we have the Morbid for Malicious Affliction. I mean, I guess maybe Ratchet Bomb does it. Dismember could do it. Damnation does it, I guess, but then why cast the Malicious Affliction? I think I'm going to take the Tar Pit here. I think we just need a little bit more fixing. I'm sad to pass both of these, but we're close to enough playables, and our fixing could definitely be quite a bit better than it is right now. Take the Blooming Marsh. I'm not going to play the Ever After. Arbor Elf would be fine, although I think we're actually kind of splashing green, which means maybe we shouldn't be playing the World Waker. I don't know if we're playing Trigon Predator, unless we see something that's good at blowing up. So I think the Blooming Marsh. Okay. Here we have Icefall Regent is fine. Savannah doesn't do much. Not playing any of the white, I don't think. Panharmonicon. Does that do much of anything? I guess. Noxious Gearhulk, Mole Drifter. Mystic Snake doesn't really do much. Because it works with Revoker. I don't think enough to justify it, even though it's kind of a sweet card. Luna's Prowler is good if you're reanimating, but not really for doing anything else. I think we take the Duress. I think there are some matchups where it'll be quite good. Okay. Rakdos Return, that's pretty late, I think. I think that card is pretty fantastic. Although, it's probably better in a cube that has mana rocks, so that you can really boost it out and get rid of your opponent's hand before they can do much. You take Reflecting Pool. We have a fair number of double black and double blue and double green. Or we can take the Woodland Cemetery. Don't really think we want Dark Petition. I think it's just kind of slow. Don't know if the Gear Hulk's really what we want to be doing. I think we'll take the Woodland Cemetery here. Pernicious Steed. Ooh, okay. That's new art. I don't think I've seen that variety before. We can destroy a whole bunch of artifacts, creatures, enchantments. It seems pretty good. It's probably our pick here. Careful Study is okay, but not crazy. And probably not for sort of a value deck like us. And everything else here is unexciting, but we'll probably end up playing the Pernicious Steed. It's a good pickup. Another potential board wipe. Okay, we have a choice here between the Edict, Battle Sphere. We don't really have any ramp. I'm just loath to play so many high cost cards and worried that we're going to get run over early. So maybe Chainer's Edict's good. I think in Premier Battle Sphere is a stronger card. I'm surprised it's still in the pack. But I think this deck may need the Edict more. Let's see. Reclamation Sage, I guess, is maybe a sideboard card. Not playing Tooth and Nail. Don't think we're going to splash for like Assemble the Legion or anything. So that. Here we could play. Do you think Roller Rogue's fine? Although I think we probably have better things to be doing. I don't know if getting a 2/2 in regularly is going to be that fantastic. We could just take Bone Shredder. Don't think Living Death is really what we want. I'll take Bone Shredder. That may end up making the pick as well. A couple of good white cards. Kolaghan's Command's pretty powerful. Don't think we really have much for Imperial Recruiter. I mean, we're not going to splash for it. I don't think we're playing any of these cards. But I mean, again, we don't have lots that's working with Ever After either. Nothing we can get with Wooden Foothills. So we take the Declaration. There's just an outside chance we put in like Declaration and Oust for some matchup. That seems pretty bad though. The Prowler. Last pick, Rakdos Return. I still feel like this card's better than that. But maybe it's just not that impressive if you don't have some mana rocks to go along with. So I kind of regret not taking the Coalition Relic earlier. I'm not sure what we took it over. I don't actually remember. But I think it was fairly close, and then we probably just want the ramp more in this deck. Although it costs 3, I don't know. We really want a ramp thing on turn 2 as well, so maybe that wouldn't have been correct anyway. Okay, Duplicate's fine. I don't think we play it. Pre-board, same with Trigon Predator. We actually have a lot of ways to get rid of artifacts and enchantments, but again, I don't think we bring those in just out of the blue. Duress is probably a sideboard card as well. Don't like Gifts, don't like Uno without kind of reanimation going on. I think we probably could have been in that deck if we wanted to be. I saw a lot of late reanimation cards come around. Tassiger seems kind of lackluster. We don't have much that we're doing early, I guess. Ancestral Vision, Thoughtseize, Into the Royal, but I think he could be on the chopping block. Stroke of Genius also seems not great. It's quite good. I guess you get up to 7, it ends up being quite good. If you get up to 6, it's fine. 5 is pretty bad. Anything less than that's not great. I don't really like the Phyrexian Revoker. Without getting to see what my opponent does. This Tasker's probably worse than Stroke of Genius. I think I want to keep all my Planeswalkers. That sort of seems my best way to victory is to have a bunch of them out and be getting a bunch of repetitive advantages. Okay, right now we have 3 green sources. Wonder if we should try and cut Nissa. I could definitely see this getting stuck in our hand a lot. It is a later game card. Maybe it doesn't hurt our mana too much. What would we put in instead? I guess Tassiger probably, or Duress. Neither of which seem great. Yeah, I think we'll keep the World Waker. And just have to know that we're not going to be able to play it all the time. But okay. Let's see what Moto suggests here. Moto wants us to add in another 3 green sources, which brings us up to 6 there, which means we'd reliably be playing Nissa. That gives us 8 black, but only 6 blue. I don't like just having 6 blue, especially with things like Cryptic Command, Architect of Thought, Careful Consideration. I think blue and black are about the same. Maybe you actually want a little bit more blue. We'd like to be able to suspend the Ancestral early. Miscalculation is certainly a lot better early. And then we've got a lot of multi-cost stuff at the 4-drop spot, like Mystic Snake, Cryptic Command, etc. I think we probably want at least 8 blue sources. So maybe 8 blue, that gives us 8 black, and 5 green. That seems okay. Mana's not fantastic, but we don't think we really kind of need to play our 3 colors, and it's not terrible either. So we'll save this and go into match 1. Kind of a lukewarm on the deck, but we'll see how it performs. See everybody in match 1.